Alright guys, I am back with another video. So not only my voice has been lost, I'm sorry about that. I'm using a different setting on my microphone, so hopefully it's going to be a little bit better. Comment down below if you like it better or worse. But I'm sure today is not a good day because my voice is already jacked up. But I just want to jump on quickly here to show you this video here. Now I'm not gonna play the whole thing, obviously. I'm taking the audio away. I want you to go and kind of watch his video because I don't want to take anything out of context here. But just the title alone, you could see that there are these type of video going to pop up quite often. I think we know the reason why, right? Because GME is due for a good earnings report coming up the next few months. So this is why, this type of video is going to pop up a lot more to kind of like get ahead of time, like, hey, this is going to stop a squeeze, not GME, of course, right? So spoiler alert, none of these stocks are going to be GME, and everything, in Ortex and all that stuff, this is the beginning part of what it was 3 years ago when GME run, right? AMC run, they tend to use Ortex to show you, hey, the squeeze rate is this and that, right? But in my opinion, obviously this is just my opinion, not financial advice, I think that these type of stock, there's a reason why they're being shorted, right? And even if I know like people like, well, GME was shorted as well. Well, GME is a special case because you have Ryan Cohen, right? And Ryan Cohen is a catalyst. That was it, right? Again, without Ryan Cohen, GME would not have been the GME that we know today. That's what I'm trying to say here. So this type of stock needs some sort of catalyst. I'm not knocking that these stocks is going to squeeze or anything like that, because I don't do any research on the actual company. What catalyst is going to provide those type of movement that this guy is trying to steer people into buying, right? Of course, again, these type of data, it's being skewed, it's very old and all that stuff too. So I remember Trade was using this data, for AMC, and it never amounts to anything, right? Because again, Adam Aaron is not on the side of retail, so therefore why would people who short the company return the shares, even though those FTD means failure to deliver stocks are stacking up to the tune of trillions of share, right? Allegedly. So again, like my point of view is that even if there's trillions of shares being shorted, if the leadership doesn't allow the catalyst to happen, these people are just going to keep shorting it to oblivion, right? The balance sheet has to support it. The balance sheet has to be better. The company has to be better. Leadership has to be better. And this is why GME is the special one. Why? Because leadership is actually trying to do good for the company, for the shareholder, right? Not do right by the bondholder, so to speak, right? Okay, so let's get to this. Of course, I'm going to go through one by one. It's not in order. I'm sure, if you watched the video. So it's 6 stocks that he was promoting, or at least try to say that it's going to squeeze, right? And let me show you something here. Of course, this is Beyond Meat. It's been pummeled down for since the run of GME right there, from 140 to now $9, close to $9, right? And it's of course like they're trying to say that, oh, it's gonna 10x from here, whatever. I don't know about that. The reason why? Look, net income is still close to $250 million right there being lost for the last 12 months, right? And of course, if you look at the analysts out there, they are saying that this is a sell. 6 stock analysts, one even give it a high, a high of this, right? Average, and then low 3. There's a reason there's a reason why they gave you that amount, right? So of course, enterprise versus market cap, that's not too bad, right? But if you look at the amount of let's see right here, interest payment coverage, it's so low that this company could go bankrupt at any time, right? Or dilution to the point of no return, just like AMC. If you look at, the total, that's not too bad, right? Compared to AMC, obviously. Cash on hand, they still have some cash on hand, so they're not going to go bankrupt immediately. But look at this score right here. This is the increased risk of bankruptcy. If you have 3, anything under 3, that's the increasing risk of bankruptcy. So they have -1. That is kind of like the sentiment here. And look at this gross profit. You can't even make enough to make a gross profit, right? So therefore, the profit margin is -71. So there you go. This is the reason why it was shorted to oblivion, because again, there's no path to profitability at the moment here. Perhaps if there is change of leadership, change of industry-wide, a cash infusion. But again, with cash infusion, there's only 2 ways for company to raise money, right? Number 1 is to go to shareholder, meaning whatever equity that you have, your shareholder equity right here, and it's in the negative anyway. So people who are buying in right now, it's losing money. They're losing money. And now, if you believe in this company in the long term, you think that leadership could deliver the catalyst. New leadership, new cash infusion, but I bet you anything, these people are going to be private equity to try to kind of gut everything, and then they're going to come in for a penny on the dollar, put it back out for the, rinse and repeat type thing, right? Private equity own. Again, I don't know anything about this company as far as like, board of director who's sitting on that. But I remember it was like Bill Gates who sold out, like was promoting it, was in it for a while and then sold out, before everybody else, obviously, in the hundreds of dollars per share. So, ever since then, this company hasn't been able to, to see the light of day, so to speak. So yeah, just be careful. Of course, it's a negative shareholder equity. You don't want to touch that because, again, at the onset, you are losing money anytime you buy into this stock, even though it's lower than it used to be. So they need to dilute this float again in order to, make the company more profitable, or at least break even. So they can't even do that. Silentra, the same way. If you look at the money loss right there, market cap is pretty low. Revenue actually exceeding the market cap, so it is kind of low. It's a low float. Yes, there could be a squeeze here, but here's the thing, they're losing money, right? So let's look at it a little bit more in depth here. Okay, 9% insider ownership. Institution doesn't own much. It's a very low float. They do have some gross profit here, but it seems like they have debt right there. Look at the score right here. So that means, bankruptcy is looming. Quick ratio, not above 1. That's bad because of the debt, right? Debt to equity, it's not being is NA. Interest coverage, -5. That's bad. So operating cash flow, obviously it's a negative right there. So that's the reason why. So even though they have, gross profit margin, their profit margin is even lower. It's like to the tune of the negative. But guess what? The analysts out there want you to buy. Now, there's probably a reason why. I think it's because of the enterprise value. So let's look at it. Trailing 12 revenue. So they do have that, and operating expenses. You see, they do make money, but they have more, operational expenses. So even higher. So that's why you have operating income. Net income is negative right there. So they need to cut, just like, this is the reason why GameStop is cutting costs, and cutting costs is very important because of this type of thing, right? Think about it. If your net income was only, let's say your top line revenue was up $100 million in the case of GameStop, right? Top line revenue, let's say you are able to expand to $100 million, but yet, GameStop only get to keep $10 million more if they were to expand that far. That 10 million minus the operating expense, you actually do not make any money, right? Unless you could, within that, expansion of you expanding to $100 million, and then you only get to keep $10 million gross, though. That's as if like you're getting paid $10 million, but then your expenses might cost a lot more, right? And this is why, again, cutting costs is important. It's just as important as expanding the top line revenue. Because if you're overextending yourself, you may not even get to keep that $10 million that you might have had extra, right? Because of the operating expenses to get to that $100 million. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to draw a diagram, in my other video too. But this is about other company. So this one, of course, Selentra, they are not a good company to invest. Therefore, this is why it's being shorted to oblivion. But if you look at the shareholder equity real quick here, see, negative shareholder equity. Not to say that it won't come out positive ever. It's just that if, see that, goodwill even. So on top of that, you have goodwill, intangible asset too. So this is why I don't believe in this company. But again, the float is so low, so if you want to play it, be careful. The fact that they have more revenue than the market cap, that might be a catalyst just for the time being. But the company has to do some serious catalyst move here, right? In order to experience that move. But it's a biotech or medical company, and usually that's capital intensive too. So be careful. Lion Electric, obviously this one the same way, losing money, $50 million. Let's see the stat. Okay, so inside ownership, pretty own half of this company. At least the insider has some skin in the game, right? lose $1 million, that's not too bad, but net income right here, 51 million. Score of less than 3, that's a risk of bankruptcy, increasing risk of bankruptcy. The fact that they have like quick ratio of 1, that's they're not immediately going to go under, but look, they don't even make enough to make the interest payment right here. So that tells me that they have a lot of debt here. Cash on hand, lots of debt, negative net cash. So what does that mean? It means that they're going to need to raise money either from shareholder equity or go to the lending, people, right? Banks are not going to lend anymore because the economy, right? So the only people that would have money to lend out is the venture capital, like the people that are private equity who come here, don't want to make company better in any way. They just want to drain this asset right here, enterprise. So if you were to look at the asset, hold on, balance sheets right here, this asset they want to drain out, liability. So again, if they come in to inject capital into this company, they are going to have some serious return here, or at least try to guarantee their own return by diluting shareholder equity. I mean, it's good that the companies still have positive shareholder equity, but if private equity is going to jump in, they are going to gut this company too. So that's the predicament here. Anytime company has debt, anytime company needs money in this environment right here, it's paramount that you have to be at the top of your game in terms of cashing, meaning like a cash on hand. And, GME has that war chest that we don't need to go to, these private equity or even the bank or anyone except shareholder equity, right? So, the fact that we have $1 billion in the bank, $1.2 billion in the bank is paramount in this time, in this economy, right? Again, to protect, the company from these lender who, loan shark, to say the least. They're there to make money, right? Of course, they're gonna make their loan favorable to them in some way. So, of course, this one, the same way, losing money. I bet you anything gonna have that same score. See, negative almond score. Now, just so you know, this score is being, based on Google, right? Is a score that is used to kind of indicate, hey, company might be increasing risk for bankruptcy here. Anything less than 3, that's a good metric to go by, I guess, like just a quickly look into the company, how well they're doing. Of course, that's not everything, right? One metric is not going to get you there. You have to consider, okay, who's coming in, who backing them up if they want this company to survive, what kind of technology is this company, promising in the market, all that stuff you have to know. So currently, right off the bat, see, more debt than equity, doesn't make enough money to even cover the interest rate. I mean, what they might have for them is the fact that this insider ownership is very high. And look at the institution. So, this company has been shorted more than 100%. So, they might trigger something for people to buy in. But again, you have to understand who's in this first. Like what the board of director, what's the leadership's going to do about it. Can they turn this company around? Is there any cash injection so that this company is not going to go to those private equity again, lending money from them, and cutting the shareholder equity out. So if you look at the shareholder equity for this company right here, at least it's in the plus, but look at the goodwill. So if you were to subtract that goodwill from the shareholder equity, the real shareholder equity is actually in the negative. Why do I do it this way? Well, because again, goodwill is intangible, so you might not be able to sell, or whoever owned this company might not be able to sell for that much money because it's arbitrary, right? Sirius XM, okay, so they do have some positive net income. That's promising. So let's look a little bit further. Okay, so they do have high insider ownership. Good sign there. Okay, so less than 3 increasing, but not too bad comparing to other ones that we just looked at. Free cash flow, okay, that's good. At least something here that is good. Okay, so they do have good profit margin there. So I wonder what, there, this is why. 7 times its cash flow. Debt to EBITDA, of course, debt to equity too, I bet. So working capital is negative. Now, working capital is the amount of money available to a business to conduct its day-to-day operation. So they don't even have enough money to do that right now at the moment. So where are they going to go? Usually it's going to be shareholder equity, right? Diluting, right? Dilution. It's already 3 billion shares already, so they're going to have to sell more shares into the market. Therefore, it's going to cost the price to come down. The market cap is already $21 billion. The fact that they do have a lot of revenue, that's pretty good. So it might survive the dilution. But I mean, 3.8 billion shares, that's a lot of shares in the market to even squeeze this thing, right? And that's another thing too, the misconception that retail actually moved the stock. It's not true at all. So let's take a quick look at the balance sheets real quick here. Inventory 0. Okay, so goodwill, it's $6.1 billion of goodwill. Okay. Long-term debt, $9 billion. Look at this, shareholder equity. This is why it's being shorted to oblivion, because shareholder equity is 0, so to speak. So again, those insider has to, I don't know, dilutes or something. Returning earnings, $2.8 billion loss right there. Yeah, it's not going to squeeze. Come on, I don't care what Ortex is saying. My opinion, obviously. So, okay, so Sunrun, this is the last one he mentioned right there. Losing money. Trailing 12. Okay, cash flow negative. Everything is negative, right? They do have a lot of cash on hand. Is it going to be enough for operating income? No. Okay, well, at least they have some shareholder equity, but look at the goodwill. Boom. 140. So technically, they only have, about around $300 million or $290 million of shareholder equity here left. Long-term debt, not too bad. At least they tried to pay off some debt right there. That's a good sign. But again, if you look at the stat real quick here, risk for bankruptcy. Current ratio, at least they have, a little bit more of the money, asset versus liability. But in terms of the quick cash, they don't have enough right now. They don't even make enough to make the interest payment at the moment. So, yeah. These are the type of stock that this gentleman is trying to push. And again, this is why I make this video, to kind of give you a heads up. If you see this companies being pushed to you, the next one to squeeze and all that stuff, the GME 2.0 again, right? Be on the lookout for those type of thing. So don't fall into this trap. Obviously, there's only one, stock. If you want to invest in the company for the long term, that's the only way to beat these sentiment out, right? Because again, these things are short-lived. Those sentiments about the market, the price action, and all that stuff, very short-lived, because you have a group of investors right here that will hold this stock for a long time. I'm talking about GameStop here. Alright guys, that's all I have for this one, and I hope you are being vigilant, and Merry Christmas Eve. Tomorrow is Christmas, so be merry and bright.